Hi friends, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Cozy Cushion, the safe container that I've created to practice being a spiritual life coach that helps you find your inner strength and your full-time purpose so that you can live on your highest timeline. And what I've experienced in my life is that helps us find joy in life. So today I come here each week to talk about something that's on my mind revolving around spiritual coaching, spiritual strength coaching in particular. And most recently, I've been talking about spiritual laws and principles that can really help us live our best life. So those that know me and come here on a regular basis, thank you so much for joining me again this week. Those who don't know me, I'm Natasha, a spiritual strength coach that enjoys helping people through different ways. Sometimes I do readings for people. I'm an intuitive empath with psychic ability, and I'm also a life coach. So I like to combine the two things. I'm also an entrepreneur, a business owner, mother, and grandmother. So I use my well of experience and information to create a dialogue with you, reach out to you, and hopefully engage with you as you gain trust with me and provide a sacred space where we can all work on our medicine that we need for ourselves to become our personal best. So this is really a YouTube channel about being true to yourself, loving yourself, making yourself a priority, and learning different techniques to feel more deserving in life and to really create your own timeline in your own dreamscape. I'm a big believer in creating vision boards, journaling, keeping a gratitude journal, and I'm also a prayer warrior. So today I'm going to talk about spiritual life principle number 6. I'm just going to turn my camera just slightly here. I don't know why, but having those coats in the background is irritating me, so sorry about that. So today I'm going to talk about spiritual principle number 6, which is our emotions. There's a lot to talk about here, but I'm going to be very specific and talk about emotions in a couple different, very simple ways. One is our personal emotions and how they make us react to life, circumstances, relationships, partnerships, and how our emotions affect how we maneuver through our life. Also, emotions create energy. So when we have emotions of scarcity, fear, sorrow, grief, and sadness, it can attract more of those emotions to us, and sometimes that doesn't serve us. So that's where the spiritual principles really come into practice, as well as cultivating our inner strength and authentic, genuine selves. Most importantly, giving ourselves permission to be who we truly are, whatever that means. So it's a very, very individual journey. We all go through different phases of our life experience at different times, but we all have some very important things in common. One of those things is we're human. Another one of those things is we have emotions. When I was younger, emotions ruled my life in a way that it took me a long time to sort them out because I was a very highly emotionally charged person. So when I was angry, I was very angry. When I was sad, I was very sad. And I really find that so many of us are that way. And with social conditioning and the way we grow up through life, our emotions are one of the most affected things by outside sources. So when we were little children and we were expressing our emotions of sadness, or we didn't want to do something, whatever that was, oftentimes there was somebody close by to change our tune or to get us to feel differently. For some of us, those emotions were very nurturing, very helpful. They gave us good direction in life and made us feel loved and safe. Unfortunately, for some of us, we've had people nearby that made us feel fearful, feel shamed, feel scared, feel intimidated, feel lonely, abandoned. And you're getting the drift. Emotions are easily swayed. When we walk into a room, if we walk into a room, for instance, when we go to like a wedding or a very high vibration place, a happy place where people are going to be celebrating, oftentimes you walk in, and even if you're having a bad day or you're going through some of your own stuff, you walk in and you feel that emotion, and that energy shifts your energy a little tiny bit. So that's what I'm talking about today, is the universal emotion of the world, because every person, place, or thing carries an emotional vibration. So what that means to your spiritual life is it can have a very dramatic effect on you, especially if you're an empath, intuitive, or somebody that carries great pain in life. That means different things to different people. But like I say, sometimes our emotional structure that comes with being born into the world isn't always nurturing us to live on our highest timeline, so to speak. So now that we're older and we're growing, we have a wonderful opportunity to look at that emotional conditioning that we've had over time and reassess it. Isn't that exciting? Some of us, it's never occurred to us to reassess our emotional conditioning that we've been given in life, whether it be from our parents. So just a very small example, something that maybe is relatable to a lot of people. I had a grandmother that was a farmer's wife. I grew up on a dairy farm in a rural community, and my grandmother that lived on that farm knew it was a dangerous environment. So she was always trying to scare me first so that my curious mind and brave personality wouldn't get hurt. So she was always saying things to me that were quite dramatic. And just a small example, it might be funny to some, but every time I'd eat an orange or an apple, she'd be like, "Don't swallow the seeds because it will grow a tree in your belly," because she was told that apple seeds were toxic, and she just needed a way to get that information relayed through me. So when I was really little, I believed her. She used to tell me bubble gum would clog my system and I wouldn't be able to poop. So when I was little, I would never swallow my bubble gum because I feared that it would do something, negative to me. So she was using emotion to teach me life lessons and experiences before I had them myself in a roundabout sort of way. So, so much of our teaching and learning in life and being a human is based on emotions and our emotional systems. And when we don't reassess our emotional systems when we're adults, it's very difficult to live our best life. we need to address our emotions, and because they're so closely connected to our faith and our belief systems. And if we never reassess those, for another example from my own life, maybe some of you can relate to, is I was a child of divorce. And when I was a little girl, I believed that the world was the most amazing, perfect, magical place. I had no fear, and I was felt so safe. And when my parents had their divorce, my emotions about absolutely everything in my life had changed. I no longer felt safe. I was emotionally distraught. I didn't know how to cope. I was facing new life challenges. I was too young to understand, and there became so many emotions when I was younger that were adult emotions. So I guess what I'm really trying to relay is we need to always take stock of our spiritual and life conditioning over time, because so many of us struggle in life because we have emotional conditioning that no longer serves us. So, for instance, my mom was always worried. She was a thrifter. We had secondhand clothes all the time, and she gathered things because she lived in scarcity, because she always believed that there was never enough. So when I was younger, I too always believed that there was never enough, and I carried that emotion of it's not enough with me. So I found evidence of that everywhere in my life. I was a very young mom, which love emotions led me to being a very young mom. And so when I had my son very young, I became a welfare mom, which kind of reconfirmed for me that the emotion of scarcity and lack in the world, and I didn't deserve more in life, became more ingrained into my operating system. So I was always operating from a survival state as well as a spiritually ungrounded state that was living on fear and anger emotions constantly. Because as I moved through experiences of emotion in my life, it was very rare that I found anybody, and I have a lot of really beautiful, fantastic friends. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a talker. That's one of the main reasons I do this video, is I love talking and reaching out to people so much that it brings me here each week to talk about these things, because they mean so much to me, and I don't want anybody living how I used to live, in scarcity and being charged by my emotions, which also affected me physically with my depression and my anxiety. So you can easily see how all these emotions are connected. And if we never reassess them, we never find new places for them. So for instance, now that I'm older and I've reassessed my emotions, I no longer live from scarcity. I no longer live believing that I'm never going to find love, because I've looked at that emotion of love, decided that what love meant to me was being engaged in my own life and really loving being here and loving myself enough that I could give love back to everybody else. And the first part of my life, the emotion of love meant something different. It meant that I would sacrifice, I would endure, I would help, I would try my best to see everybody's side of things and accommodate my whole life accordingly. I really have a belief system that it was my life purpose to help people. So I knew that from a very young age. Unfortunately, my emotional system wasn't strong. My spiritual systems were not strong. And it's not that I loved the wrong people. It's that I sacrificed so much of my time, love, and energy on trying to fix them instead of being solid in my own self and inviting them to the challenge of stepping up to the plate and helping themselves. So there's a big difference. And when we build our spiritual strength muscles around the principles of emotion and what that means for us to be spiritually strong, emotions that used to knock us down will now start to propel us forward. So that's how you know you're getting stronger. You get up quicker, you brush off your knees quicker, and you let go of emotions that no longer belong to you a lot quicker. And let me tell you, friends, that is where we find peace. Knowing what emotions belong to us, what emotions belong to other people, their fears, their thoughts, their feelings. Because being empathetic, oftentimes you feel so deeply you can feel the emotions and fears of other people, which stick to you like glue. That's how your aura becomes very charged with heavy emotional stuff. And it's important as a spiritual teacher to really cleanse yourself of those emotions, because they over time will weight you down. And that's one of my greatest passions in life, is teaching spiritual principles so that you can feel lighter, brighter, healthier every day in every way. So I'm just quickly looking at my notes because I just kind of go into a flow space, but I had some really important things to talk about here today to wrap it up, because I'm thinking one of the spiritual principles that can help you to spiritually strengthen your emotional spiritual self is to really pay attention to the people that love you, reach out to you naturally, people that celebrate you, people that want to help you. You know, they just come out of the woodwork at any given moment when there's a call for help, and they come. Those are your people that are meant to walk with you spiritually every day of your life. So if you don't have many of those people in your life, I really encourage you to be open to receiving emotions of positivity, emotions of support and love, because you deserve it. You deserve to be spiritually strong, spiritually grounded, emotionally strong, and emotionally sound. It keeps us from being in accidents. It helps us maneuver life when life gets heavy a lot better. It helps us be present for our loved ones who are suffering and we don't know what to do to help them. If we take our emotions and separate them from the emotion of the problem, it can really serve us. My mentor, Sean Stevenson, used to always say, if the problem's in your head, the solution's in your heart. If the problem's in your heart, the solution's in your head. And that's really stuck with me over my spiritual awakening, as well as my spiritual growth that I've chosen to do over my timeline in these 49 years. And it really made a difference, because what it helped me do was separate the emotions that I was going through from the experience to my higher timeline and my goals, so that I thought about things before making a decision, and I didn't use raw energy of the moment as much. Because let me tell you, friends, this is a struggle. When you get real about your emotions, it's a challenge, and that's okay, because I'm 100% here for you anytime you need it. You reach out at any time. So surround yourself with the people that love you. I'm going to talk about tolerance. Way back when, I used to be very tolerant of all kinds of situations because I myself was in them. For example, when I was in a habit of addiction, I was very tolerant to other people practicing those behaviors. Too tolerant, in fact, that it really started to have a negative impact on my mental health, my well-being, and there was a point where I needed to choose for myself to safeguard and protect my heart and become less tolerant to engaging in those behaviors because I needed to be safe, secure, and I was really working on my spiritual strength muscles to become a better mom, better person in general, and most importantly, love myself more because I didn't always love myself and I wasn't always confident. So I want you to think about your tolerance a little different. And it's okay to not tolerate behaviors from other people that bring on negative emotions in yourself, no matter how close they are to you. I had to stop watching people decline, participate in bad behaviors that were no longer in alignment with my soul. And I felt bad about it for a long, long, long time. But what I've noticed is when I felt good about it, and I would light my candles, play with my rocks, and pray for them, I became much more stronger and safe, and I was available when they needed me, when they asked me for help. And there's a big difference. So I want you to reevaluate what you tolerate in your life and the people that you tolerate in your life. And I want you to really, this is my challenge this week, is to learn when to leave a room. To learn when you need to let your emotions go, when you need to reassess the emotions that you have. So if you're experiencing anger and blame, if you're experiencing, constant stress from other people's behavior and so on and so forth, that's where these spiritual strength training exercises attached to emotion really come into play. I want you to reduce your guilt because what I know for sure is when we take good care of ourselves, we do the best we can with what we've got. We learn our best to clearly communicate how we're feeling inside, and we stand up for what we believe in, and we dream about things. This is one of my favorite things I love to teach. When you allow yourself to dream about the things that are in your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit, you start to love your life a whole lot more in a brand new, different way. So as a spiritual strength coach, that is my forte. That's what I like to teach. That's what I love to invite you into each week when I come here to talk about spiritual principles and so on and so forth. I've been working on some new projects that I hope you're going to find very exciting. Some of you know I've participated in a program called The Full-Time Purpose. I have an online community and tribe of spiritual light workers that have become such a beautiful part of my life that I want to share more and more of that with you guys as I build my own life and eventually build a bigger sacred space for the Cozy Cushion where I can invite people in to meet themselves and get really strong and very happy. Because being here on earth and not being happy is, honestly, friends, it's no fun. We all know it. We don't like being surrounded by people that are not having any fun. It's kind of a drag. It sucks the energy from us, and we don't need that anymore at all. So another thing that I plan on doing in the future is I want to show up 2 times a week instead of one, because I've totally acknowledged that some of you are tuning in. When I don't post on a Tuesday, I can see that you've checked in. Natasha, where are you? So that's wonderful. It totally warms my heart. And I want to build this community to be not only my full-time business and my full-time purpose, but as well as the momentum, tribe, and loving community that supports me in living my best life, and also letting me serve you in being a mentor or coach in assisting you to also live your best life. Because after all, friends, we're all here just to walk each other home. Thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate every single one of you. Please leave me comments below on this talk, whether it was helpful or you enjoyed it or not. I love all comments. It's okay. I'm really looking for that engagement. So I really care about what you're thinking and feeling, friends. So as you go forth through today, reassess your emotions, what you tolerate in life. Surround yourself by people that love you unconditionally, as you are, because there's nobody you need to be other than truly and genuinely you. You are loved by me, and I'm going to see you next week, friends. So in the meantime, take care, stay cool, protect your peace, and take my challenge and start living at your highest timeline.